Hi everyone, I'm Duncan from Humanise.AI. I'm here in London in the UK. I was going to go out in the park and do this video, but surprisingly it's too hot out there to do this, so I'm stuck in the office with this whiteboard behind me. So I represent a tech startup. We've built a virtual assistant for the accommodation industry. By that I mean hotels, apartment rentals, hostels, all types of accommodation really. I formed the company coming out of IBM Watson, where I was the European CTO. And during my time in Watson, I'd learnt that today's AI can bring incredible efficiencies for customer service, but that we still need humans to do the more complex things. And as we all know, the accommodation industry has its fair share of complex customer service needs. So at its core, the technology that we've built, the company really was formed to build technology that recognises that AI is best when it's used to take the load off of human staff and to automate the high volume of routine things, but to defer quickly to members of staff when things get more complicated. And so we built a platform that does exactly that, and then we built a virtual assistant. We call it Gem, and Gem sits on top of this platform that we've built. And it specialises in accommodation tasks, so things like booking people into rooms, selling upgrades, resolving questions, etc. about the accommodation. But before I talk about Gem, I'd just like to mention this phenomenon of messaging and how it's rapidly taking over from both email and phone as a way of communicating, because I think this is kind of key to the ideas that we have in Humanise. When I first noticed this, when my teenage daughter gave me her iPhone and asked me to fix something, typical dad problem at the weekend, to my surprise, I noticed that she'd taken off the little button at the bottom of the phone for making a phone call, and she'd replaced it with the Messages app. And as hard as I tried, I looked at this phone and I could not work out how you make a phone call with it. And so I asked her, "How would you make a phone call, Lucy?" And to which she replied, "Why would I want to make a phone call when I can send a message?" So that put me on my place. So I think my daughter represents a generation that's grown up seeing messaging as the natural way to communicate rather than making a phone call or sending an email. So we built Gem for people not just like my daughter, but people like myself as well, people who want to use messaging to interact and get self-service with the hotel. So let's see it. So here we are. This is Gem on a hotel website. You see this is a little chat system. I should say we work over messaging apps like Facebook Messenger. This is our proprietary web chat system that we built ourselves. So I'm going to go in and chat with the system. And a window opens. And here we go. We're now into a automated conversation with Gem. So I can ask various things here. So I don't know, can I bring my pet, for example, my dog to the hotel? So it can ask me which hotel, and it's going to give me information specific to that hotel. Okay, it's a very simple example of a question. Now, imagine I've got something more complicated going on, like, hey, you billed me twice and I need to get it sorted. Grumpy customer. So immediately Gem recognises that this isn't something that it should try to look after. It says, right, let's get a member of staff. And here we go. So I'm going to say, yes, let's chat with a member of staff. And it's going to say, who am I? Because we want to know who it is that's a bit grumpy. We submit that information, and now in our backend system that the hotel have, we've raised a task for somebody to join the chat. Now that was a very simple example of using Gem. The more sophisticated implementations are where we integrate with the PMS, the property management system, and we get pinged immediately a reservation is arrived in the hotel, and when that happens we start chatting with the guest. We'll email, SMS them, get them brought into our chat, whether that's through Facebook Messenger or web chat, and we'll start a personalised conversation that's all about their reservation, getting to know the guest, doing something very interesting and specific, and maybe even selling some upgrades in the process. So that's where we think the future of this stuff is. Proactive messaging, not just waiting for somebody to come to the website, but actually reaching out to guests and getting them chatting, and hopefully increasing revenues and profit for the hotel at the same time, which we think is eminently possible because 10% of our guests are purchasing upgrades through us right now. So, as a very quick tour of Gem and what we're trying to do at Humanise. I hope it's useful. I'm Duncan at Humanise.AI if anyone wants to send me a message, and let's chat. Thank you.